Good afternoon, YouTube. JT Serenity Farms prepping here. It's October 7th, 2020. Very rainy here in upstate New York today. So, this video will be directed mostly to long-suffering residents of New York State like myself, and probably linked to other cesspool cities, tyrannical governors and mayors, that you will notice the similarities, what's happening there also. So, Comrade deblasio and herr cuomo had set a threshold that if a particular area reached 3% positive cases, positive tests, not deaths, mind you, positives, which have proven to be ultra reliable throughout this entire process. If an area reached that 3% threshold, they would be completely locked down, shut down, quarantined, isolated, whatever you want to call it. So, apparently, that has happened. 9 counties in New York City, including Queens, Brooklyn, Rockland, Orange, and 5 others, 9 zip codes, are going to be locked down, to include indoor dining, which just was approved to begin last week, gyms, swimming pools, parks. I didn't know anything was open anyway. Every video I've seen of that cesspool, it looks like a ghost town. Boarded up windows, no cars, no foot traffic, no people. So de Blasio went on with fellow comrade Wolf Blitzer on CNN to talk about the upcoming lockdowns. And Wolf, always the open-minded journalist, brought up the issue of, well, protest. What about those? I understand shutting down everyone illegally going to the park, going to a restaurant, going to a wedding, trying to go to church. I understand all that. But what about protest? And de Blasio said, well, Wolf, we have to understand and take into consideration that this may be hundreds of people, thousands of people, tens of people, hundreds of thousands of people. But we have to take into consideration that this is a movement that is looking for change and justice, aka, so we're going to allow these blatant violations of my own edicts because I agree with the ideology. Yes, we all know libtards are hypocrites of the greatest magnitude. So, not to be outdone, El Duce is apparently on a personal vendetta for religious services. Okay, mosques weren't mentioned, so, but if you remember early on in this pandemic, the gates to Jewish parks had been padlocked by the administration. The Jewish folks said no, and they cut them off. The Jewish folks, you may have noticed on the news yesterday, are burning their masks. But Cuomo has stated that if Jews and Christians are going to continue to violate his edict for religious services, he will shut them down permanently. Alright, back in January, we all would have laughed at the potential for freedom of speech, including religious rights, to be silenced, shuttered, and violated unconstitutionally. But apparently, the Constitution doesn't matter to Cuomo and deblasio. Once again, people are fleeing the city and the state in record numbers, despite offers of money to come back by Cuomo. I don't know that this is enough I don't think the liberals will vote these two pieces of shit out no matter what they do to them. They're making a big stand now by leaving the area, but we all know liberals move into an area, use their ideology to ruin the area, then when they can't even take their own ideology, they move somewhere else and just restart their own ideology in that area, ruining it also. So, nothing I've seen in the past convinces me that New York could become red. If upstate New York was all by itself, yeah, we'd be good. But we're not. But anyway, I just wanted to add a quick update on New York happenings, because I believe at least New York City and some other major cities in New York will be shut down again completely for another 2 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen to my area. I've given up on people standing up and saying no to this tyranny. I have seen nothing that shows me there's any backbone. So, I don't know how much longer I can hang on in this state, regardless of the pandemic. There was so much else going on before this happened. But, like, share, subscribe, comment. I got another video about some camping items that I bought and set up and I'm testing that I think would be good for a lot of people who may need temporary, even permanent shelters for people in their group that are rather affordable. And, as I have mentioned in that other video, I found this magazine in Tractor Supply. I had seen one like it in Lowe's a couple weeks ago and I didn't grab it, and I went back a couple days later and it was gone. So, folks, we're not a wild bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists out there being made fun of on Nat Geo. We're the real deal. But then you already knew that. So for now, JT, signing off.